Boy, it's sunny out here. I probably should put a hat on. But today, oh, good morning. I almost forgot to tell you good morning. Today is Sunday. In my mind, it's Monday. But it's Sunday, August 23rd. And we didn't have any birthdays or anniversaries to celebrate that anybody told me. If you're new to my channel, because I've noticed I picked up a few subscribers in the last month or so, I'd like to sing to you on your birthday. Your birthday is a special day. And I was very surprised to learn that how many people don't get songs sung to them on their birthdays because they're an adult. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean you don't celebrate your birthday. There's a child inside of all of us, and we need to celebrate that. And it's your special day. You were like put on earth. There's only one of you on this earth. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But just celebrate who you are, and I like to do that, and I like to sing to you. I know I don't have the best voice in the world. I have never claimed to be an opera singer, but it brings me joy. And anything that brings me joy is something I'm going to do every day of my life. Another thing I'm going to do every day of my life is persist. I will persist. I will not give up. That's if you have followed me since the very beginning, you know I have struggled. And I share all of my struggles. I share all my good times and I share my bad times. And fortunately this year I really haven't had that many low points as far as my weight loss. I've had a couple struggles along the way. I'm trying to get a little bit less complacent because I've been kind of not worrying too much about going out. And so I've been eating out. And when the pandemic first started, I was definitely afraid to eat out. And so I never ate out. And I just started doing that again. And that's why my weight is kind of going back up. So now I stopped. I've stopped. I just realized I can't do that. But my son-in-law, Aaron, is manager of a Boston market. And my daughter, Christy, is helping him because he can't keep help. He just can't keep help. And because people don't want to be dealing with the public, first of all, and they don't want to be out in the public. And so he's having a hard time. So even though my daughter has a full-time job that she does during the day, on nights and weekends, she goes and helps him at the Boston market where she works at. And she gets very annoyed at people. And I know that the Ange over at Smack Vision has brought this up too, because she's a server at the Cheesecake Factory and also at an Italian restaurant. I think it's an Italian restaurant, but she's a server at two different restaurants. And my daughter's major complaint is, if you're going to be that worried about the way they're preparing your food and handling your food and handling everything, then stay home and just stay home because that's like, they make some of the people, she said, just make no sense. You know, like they're touching everything and they still got to touch the stuff you're touching, and then they get annoyed with you. It's just, I mean, because it's quite the procedure, because like from the start to finish, like she puts a fresh pair of gloves on, she gets the plate, they point out what they want, she puts it on the plate, she gets all the way to the end, and then she takes her gloves off so she can ring up the register. And then she puts the hand sanitizer on, takes their money, gives them their money back, then hand sanitizes again, and then picks up the package and gives it to them. And then 9 times out of 10, she said they're fine. But she says it's just that one person that said you didn't wash your hands enough, you took your gloves off too soon, why didn't you wash your hands before you took my money, and then wash your hands again after you took my money. She said there's just some of the people there's just no pleasing. And she says, and those are the people she just wishes she could tell them, you're not ready to eat out in public, just stay home. So if you have to eat out, think of the server, think of how much more work they're doing. They're doing twice the job that they were doing before, and they're not getting twice the money. They just aren't. So if you can afford it, tip them very well, because if you can afford to eat out nowadays, I think you can afford to tip a little bit better too. Even when I get a carry out, I tip. I always did before, and the few times I've eaten out, I have this time too. So, but enough of that. I don't even know how I got on that subject. But I spent yesterday, I stayed completely on track. I know that yesterday I said I didn't have any fattening foods, and then I told you I had pizza for dinner. I don't consider that a fattening food if, now this is a big if you don't abuse the privilege of eating it. Because anything you eat can lead to being fattening, like adding weight on. And so I had the pizza, I had a slice of pizza, I had it within reason, I planned it for my points, I planned it in my day, I enjoyed every bite of it, didn't consider it fattening. Even if I would have wanted a donut or a piece of cake, if it would have fit into my points for the day, I wouldn't have considered it fattening. But right now where I'm at, struggling again, I can't do that. But the pizza, it didn't bother me. I ate my 3 meals. I did look. I ended up with 29 points for the day. I get 23, but I think I get 37 weeklies now, because as your weight goes down, your weekly numbers go down. But so I was fine with what I did yesterday, and I just know that I have to get back to the mindset. Someone had asked me why it is they thought that maybe the reason I do better Monday through Friday, staying on my plan, is because I walk on Monday through Friday. That's part of it. But I think the major point of it, I would say 99% of the reason I'm so good Monday through Friday, is because I've done so horribly wrong on Saturday and Sunday, and I have to make up for what I did those 2 days. So a lot of times if I've had like a 1 pound loss, if I wouldn't have gone crazy on Saturday and Sunday, I might have had a 2 pound loss. So I'm going to test that theory this week. I am going to eat properly every day within my points. I got my measuring cups and spoons and everything back out. I'm back to measuring, not eyeballing. And I appreciate all the support and encouragement all of you give me. I really do. I was watching Dish with Dee yesterday, and I so agree with her. And I think Kim over at Girl on Her Phone said the same thing. I know Joan at Joan's Pointed Plate said it. And I could name everybody's channel. Everybody says the same thing, that the channel is what keeps them in line. The channel is what helps them stay strong. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that if my sister wouldn't have talked me into doing this channel, I would have lost weight at the beginning. I would have. I don't think I would have kept it off. I really don't. I really don't think I would have kept it off. And even though I'm doing it for myself and nobody can do it for me, I do feel that you guys hold me accountable, and some people just need that. And I'm one of those people that just needs somebody to hold me accountable. And if you see me slacking off or something, I welcome your comments. I welcome your criticism. I do. I've been very fortunate that I have not had very many trolls. I've had a couple that I've had to block, and so therefore they can't leave comments, but they can hit that dislike button. More power to them. I don't really care. So if that's the way that they can show their disgust with me, that's fine. But it doesn't affect my life. It really doesn't affect my life. What affects my life is the support and encouragement, and so that's a good effect of my life. And don't ever think that you can't be honest and truthful with me, because I wouldn't be this far if I just took all the happy thoughts, all the happy comments. Now, granted, I just told you I blocked somebody. They weren't being constructively critical. They were just being downright mean. There's a difference between being critical and being mean. Not critical, but showing, I don't know what the word would be, showing criticism of what I'm saying. If you think at any time I'm a hypocrite, let me know. Sandy, you're a hypocrite, because a lot of times you just don't see things unless somebody points it out. They really don't. It's like when you take a picture of yourself. You don't really think of how you look until you see a picture. How many of you have taken a picture and you look at it and you think, oh my gosh, is that really me? Or you see something and you thought you looked really good in that outfit, and then you see that outfit and you think, oh, hell no, I'm not wearing that again. Oh, see, and I just came from church and I'm swearing. I watched my church service and we said the rosary, because our church is St. Mary, Queen of Creation, and yesterday was the anniversary of the patron of when the church was established, and we got her name. So after Mass they had a rosary, so we did the rosary. And then look at, I turn around and just start swearing, because I usually do my video before I go to Mass on Sundays. But today I just watched the Mass first. But anyway, where was I going with that? You know, you just gotta, oh, I would see in an outfit. I had this one particular shirt, and it was, I really didn't have a lot of money because Jim wasn't working a lot, and I always like put it into having my kids having clothes and food on the table and all of that. Kind of learned from my mother how she stretched a budget, because there were times in the beginning of our marriage that I had to. And I had this one particular sweater, and I'll put a picture right here. It was my favorite sweater. It really was my favorite sweater, but I wore it all the time. And it wasn't until I had somebody, I went to bowling and they saw me in the sweater and they go, "You really like that sweater, don't you?" And I go, "Yeah, it's really comfortable." And they go, "Yeah, I can tell you wear it every week. It must be your lucky sweater," because I wore it to bowling. So I go, "Yeah, it brings me luck. That's why I wear it. I always wear my lucky sweater." And so then I saw this picture afterwards that they had taken of my mother and myself with this sweater on, and I thought, is that really the best sweater for you? No, not really. But anyway, I thought of a story. I'll end with the story. When I was bowling on a league, and it was a mixed doubles league, and the men were very competitive, and they just didn't like being beat. And we were playing this one team. We were playing for. It was like the mid things. It wasn't the end for the championship, but it was like the midterm or whatever. And we were in second place, and we were playing the first place team. And they had some really strong bowlers on their team, and I mean, we really were struggling. And I just, at that point, I thought, it was the first game, and I didn't really care. Jim and I had a fight before we got to the bowling alley. I didn't really want to go, but I didn't want to not miss. So I just got up there, threw the ball, and walked away. And they go, "Oh, you got a strike," and I go, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever." So then I got 3 in a row, and which is a turkey. Oh, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So then I ended up with kept throwing. I just threw the ball, and then I'd walk away and talk to other people and the thing. And it wasn't until we were in the 10th frame that one of the men on the team that we were playing came up to me, and you never tell in bowling. You never say good luck. Well, you're doing really well. Let me see what you're doing. I kind of thought, it seemed odd to me that like the last couple times that I was getting up to bowl, that everybody stopped bowling, because you always got to wait on either side. But everybody was stopping, and I was so oblivious to it. I just didn't really pay attention to it. And so I get up there, and he said, "I'd be really nervous if I was you." And I go, "Nervous? Nervous about what?" And he says, "Oh, never mind, never mind." So I went and I threw the first ball, and it was a strike. And then I come back, and he says, "I got to give you credit. I really got to give you credit." And I said, "What? What?" Because I really wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was just like in that kind of a funk. And he says, "If I had everyone in the whole bowling alley watch me bowl, I would be very nervous. It's like you're a professional bowler." At the time it was Earl Anthony. "If it's like you're a professional bowler, it's like you're Earl Anthony." And I said, "What are you talking?" And then I look, and no one was bowling. They were all waiting for me. Now I'm aware of it, so I go up with my second ball, and I throw it, and it was perfect, right dead in the pocket. It, boom! And then that one pin, it spun, the 7-pin spun into the 10-pin position, and then stayed there. And I only had 9. So then I made the spare. So I ended up with a 289. I could have had a 300 game. I didn't realize it at that point. But I was so mad at him, because it's like, maybe if he wouldn't have told me, I would have done it. And then when we had our banquet at the end of the year, I had the highest game because I had a 289. I beat all the men, which I loved. Although they had a women's champion and a men's champion, so I didn't, I just felt better because I had a higher score than the men. And then I think I ended up the series with like a 792 or something. That was my night. So when we were going home, Jim said, "Well, aren't you going to thank me?" And I go, "For what?" He says, "Well, because if you wouldn't have been mad at me, you wouldn't have been taking it out on the pins," which is probably true. But anyway, so the whole point of this video was just to keep your eye on the prize, keep focused, and I'm focused on the prize, and the prize is getting to Wonderland, and I'm going to do it. I just know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with all your support and all your encouragement. I'm going to do it with my knowing that I have to do it on my own, but it doesn't stop me from taking some praise along the way, and hopefully I made sense today. But if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Tell me when your birthday is. Tell me when your anniversary is. Leave a comment. What do you think is my biggest fault? And what do you think is what is my biggest fault and what is my biggest achievement? I know what my biggest achievement is, almost 95 pounds. And my biggest fault is eating out. But what would you say? And then share it if you think somebody might like to see it. And as always, hit the like button. If you want to hit the dislike button, it doesn't affect me either way. But anyway, always stay safe, and I will talk to you guys